Panel discussion. What is a panel discussion? It is a discussion in which few persons or the panel carry on conversation in front of the audience. At the end of the discussion, audience also participates. The audience put important questions and the experts answers them and clarify the points. The technique was first used by Harry A. Overstreet in 1929. This is an example of a setup of a panel discussion. A panel discussion is composed of the following. Number 1. Instructor. The instructor plays the most important role in the panel discussion. He or she plans how, where, and when the panel discussion will be organized. He or she prepares the schedule for the panel discussion. And sometimes, the instructor plans for the panel discussion rehearsal. Second is the moderator. The moderator keeps the discussion on the theme and encourages interaction among the members. He or she also summarizes and highlights the points, and he or she should have mastery on the theme or the problem of the discussion. Next is the panelist. A panelist is a group of people who answer questions, give advice, or opinions about something for a topic of public interest. He or she should have special knowledge, skill, or experience who can give advice and opinion of the topic. And last is the audience. The audience participates in the discussion by asking questions or give opinions about the topic in panel discussion. These are the following purpose of the panel discussion. First, to provide information and new facts. Yes, indeed. Because of the panel discussion, we can get information and new learnings from what is being discussed during the said activity. Next is to identify the values. It means because of the panel discussion, we are able to determine the social attitude, and we can identify what are the things that matters most to people, or to which area of the society that people put more importance nowadays. Next is to analyze the current problem from different angles. Because of the panel discussion, it helps to analyze or give us idea to what is the current problems or happenings in the society from different views, and eventually it will give us solution to the social conflict or problems. Next is to organize for mental recreation. Panel discussion is also good as mental exercise, and not just that, it's also a good form of recreation wherein people can do this activity and have fun. Next is to influence the audience to an open-minded attitude and respect for others' opinion. Panel discussion can influence the mind of the people and teach them the value of being open-minded and respect the other's point of view. And last, when handled intelligently and creatively, panel discussion stimulates thoughts, discussion, and clarifies thinking. Of course, because of the panel discussion, people can be stimulated intellectually, so they can generate more thinking and encourages exchange of ideas. And at the end, it gives a way to clarify things about the issue. These are the steps on how to do a panel discussion. First, define the goal. You have to know what is your goal. You have to identify the very reason why you are doing a panel discussion. After having the goal, do the planning right away. Next, pick a provocative topic. It is very important that the topic is interesting or things that amuse people to talk about. If the topic is not good, timely, or interesting, definitely no one would love to listen to the discussion. People will simply ignore or become not interested about it. Next is to recruit a strong moderator. Moderator is also one of the important composition of a panel discussion. It is necessary to choose a good moderator who knows how to handle a conversation on the panel discussion. He or she should know how to go back to the topic when the flow of discussions are no longer on track. And he or she must keep the conversation going, alive, and interesting to engage the audience and panelists stay focused to the issue or topic. Invite panelists with perspective and personality. Panelists must be chosen with a variation. They must come from different ages, gender, profession, and culture or ethnicity. This is to give color and gather more ideas from people having different ages, gender, and background or personality. And through this, biased ideas or thoughts can be avoided. The two types of panel discussions: public panel discussion and educational panel discussion. Public panel discussion is organized for the common man's problems and is also organized through television programs. Objectives achieved in public panel discussion. First, to provide factual information regarding current problems. Second, to recreate the common man. And the last is to determine the social values. Educational panel discussion. It is used in educational institutions to provide factual and conceptual knowledge and clarification of theories and principles. Objectives achieved in educational panel discussion. First, to provide factual and conceptual knowledge. Second, to raise awareness of theories and principles, and the last, to provide solutions for certain problems. Advantages of panel discussion. First, different points of views are expressed by the speakers. Second, the quick exchange of facts, ideas, and opinions helps students to sharpen their critical thinking and better judgments. And students learn to discuss topics in conversational forms, in small group, in front of a large group. The disadvantages of panel discussion. First, panel discussion requires more time for planning, organizing, and presentation. And panel discussion may be vague and superficial if the panel members lack the mastery.
Adults make is telling kids to ignore the bully and he'll go
sample
away.
video
Bullying
of
is
a
a
panel
behavior that's
discussion.
destructive to everyone, and the effects last a lifetime.
While approaches that simply crack down on individual bullies are seldom effective. Experts say when there's a school-wide commitment to raise awareness about bullying, form clear rules and strong social norms against bullying, and provide support and protection for all students, bullying can be reduced by at least 50%.
Let's see what our team panel has to say about the changing culture of violence.
From past experience with parents, teachers, and school administration, teens have little confidence that bullying situations are handled effectively if handled at all. We understand that learning how to respectfully deal with others is a major part of growing up. But if we don't get bullying under control, what is the future going to be like? So, how are adults part of the problem?
Well, I think mostly with adults, it's either one of two extremes. It's either they don't want to do anything about it because it's trying to make you stronger, or they're trying to take the whole situation into their hands and fix every problem with it. And when adults get into a lot of situations about bullying with kids, they usually end up making it worse for the victim.
A lot of adults are oblivious to the fact that bullying is even occurring. They just think it's the way of life. And I really honestly think that it's a very big problem, and if they don't get on it soon enough, we as adolescents would not be able to continue this way.
If adults or parents are part of the problem and they aren't willing to change, how hard is it for school officials to deal with the issue?
Well, I think you need the parents to back up the school officials. So if the school officials aren't there, then it's nearly impossible to stop bullying on their own. I mean, this is a two-front war, and you can't just do it in the school environment.
I just want to say I think it's a lot up to the victim, because I mean he's got to really stand up for himself. It's kind of like what Zach said, low self-esteem, and I really think the parents should help their kid by giving them encouragement. But I really think it's a lot up to the victim himself to make sure that, I mean, he shouldn't let this kid basically ruin his life. It should, he should stand up for himself, because, I mean, that's what a lot of people say, stand up for yourself.
Is standing up for yourself also letting an adult know what's going on? Is that part of standing up for yourself?
If you respect yourself enough to realize that there is a problem, then you can take the action necessary to get it solved.
I think it does matter how you resolve your problem, but can you really teach yourself to stand up for yourself? You have to have some type of guidance.
So what effective methods do you think adults can use to help kids deal with bullying and stand up for themselves?
What I was thinking is that it goes back to the school administrators thing, well, the whole school board type thing. All the extracurricular activities that I thought that schools used to have, like all the clubs, dramas, and all those types of things, I think those always help kids' confidence. And when you have kids that have confidence in themselves, it's easier to make friends that do those same things like those clubs. And the more people that are friends with each other, the less chance you have of being bullied. So maybe it's not just parents' fault at the time. Maybe some of these schools and people should start in outside activities,
I believe that high schools and middle schools and now elementary schools, they have a lot of little organizations that get students together, and just having that second family, just having those friends, that really helps a lot of people. Even if you're, the wallflower, you still have people you can relate to and people you can, say hi to in the hall.
So what do you guys think is the best way to help kids cope with the bullying situation at school? You sort of brought in some points about having more clubs. Should schools teach kids about morals and ethical behavior like discipline, respect, confidence, responsibility towards each other? Should that be a part of school curriculum?
I mean, I guess you can bring in the curriculum of teaching respect and such, but, you know, those that already do believe in respect and know how to do it won't take it, or, you know, already take it to heart, but those that that don't take it seriously won't take it to heart, and they'll keep bullying. They'll just blow it off as whatever.
The kids who don't necessarily respect people outside of their home, maybe that's because they have a hard home life. Maybe because it's in their house, it's fight with mom and dad to, you know, survive. I mean, you don't know everyone's situation.
Yeah, you know, you're supposed to listen to your teachers, but, you know, sometimes you don't, but you always, or at least, you know, should always tend to listen to your parents, even if they do, society, you know, teaches them wrong things. Basically, what I'm trying to get at is that kids are going to listen more to their parents than to a stranger in a classroom.
I totally agree with you on that, and that's why I think if we're going to teach them at a young age, then we should take it to the parents as well, not just the kids.
Should teachers be required to pass a course on conflict resolution as part of their accreditation so they understand how to deal with the situation?
I personally think teachers should get the accreditation, but to be honest, teachers are very biased. They like to side with the more popular crowd. You know, they don't want to go against the majority because they need the respect as well. So I think that if they establish that in the beginning of the year, that they are the dominant person in the classroom and get the accreditation to, you know, solve any problems peacefully, then that whole problem right there could be eliminated.
Motion, you know, just like a river runs, you know, it pulls out a little dirt at a time and it changes path. We've got to start pushing it a little bit so that the ball will get rolling somewhere.
So going back to schools, they do have bullying policies in place and they do have laws, but why are these policies not working?
Honestly, I could not tell you my school's first rule in bullying. I have no idea.
Our school believes in zero tolerance, which I know, right? Zero tolerance policy, and it is the worst policy I've ever heard of in my life because it does not work.
I think the problem why it's not working is no one wants to enforce the rules. No one wants to take that time and the effort. And when they do take the time and the effort, the punishment isn't fitting the crime. It's picking up trash or staying after school.
Okay, so why do we feel the need to judge other people?
I think a lot of people they feel the need because they go, well, I'm going to, you know, because maybe they feel a little bit insecure about themselves, you know, as a person. And then they go, you know what, I'm going to look at that person and point out what they have wrong so I don't feel half as bad about myself.
I deeply believe that people bully other people because they're bored. You know, they have nothing better to do. Because if you had something better to do, like you had to go somewhere, you wouldn't take the time to sit there and make fun of somebody. If you had something to do, like you wanted to do something, you wouldn't be thinking to make fun of another person, you know? I think boredom manifests itself into violence. And violence isn't always violent as in physical violence. It's mental violence. It's emotional violence. It's verbal violence, you know?
Adding on to what you said about they have nothing better to do, a bully, I think, when people are busy, they get into more stuff in their life. That really helps when kids are more active in their lives and make more of it, that they can even make even more of it by gaining new friends and not just gaining another enemy to bully or pick on.
Ever since, you know, this whole program, Teens in Action, and we've been discussing the segment bullying, we've all become better people. We've discussed this fact and how much it affects others and how we affect others. And so, like us who have changed, we need to kind of spread the word. We got to eat the burger. We got to get that dirt out of the river. We got to get the ball rolling. We got to spread the word.
That's right. And I really appreciate all of you guys' comments tonight. And I hope that this discussion continues out into your schools and into your family and with your friends. So I thank you guys for being here tonight.